Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of CAV HQ Live. I am your host, CAV Boss. Greetings, Tiger Wraith. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. So, as always, we'll give everybody a few minutes to kind of wander in here, as they tend to do, and then we will proceed. With my workspace is getting junky again. Yay, I made it before the end today. Yes, you did. You made it at the very beginning, even. So, can you hear me okay? You can be my test listener. Doop, 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 doop. I do. All right. Well, good. So we're just going to kind of chat a little bit tonight while I work on a CAV bay, such as it is. These are giveaways that we are doing in the month of September. So for every $25 you purchase through the store of product, you get one of these. We have some people that got like 8 and 10 of them, 12 of them. Yee. A lot of them. We're going to talk about these a little bit. We're going to talk about anything anybody asks about, kind of give you an update on the update, and go from there. And I thought 5 was a lot. Well, I did too. I didn't expect to be putting 10 and 12 of them in an order. But hey, it's good. I don't remember how many I cut originally, but it was a crap load of them. And they are all gone. And then I cut some more, and I think there's 2 left. These are some test ones that we did at the beginning, and I want to talk about them a little bit too, so that for people that's not familiar with MDF, so that they kind of know what's going on. But like I said, we'll give everybody a couple more minutes before we get started. I figured that was probably what that was. I remember seeing that come through in that one bottle of paint. I said, I bet that was, he wanted one more bay. Hey, get them while you can get them. So this is not something we're going to sell. I mean, we may do another version down the road, but these are for the month of September, and then they're gone. Ooh, paintbrush. Ooh. I can use that by pointer. Oh, careful, I'll screw up my focus. I cannot hang long. The rock are advancing on position. Well, that's not good, Colonel. You need to take cover. Hey, I haven't seen your name on our player map. You need to get your name, get on there and get... I feel bad because I can't remember his name right off the top of my head because I was thinking about it. The guys that were over in Iola. If you still talk to them at all, you can tell them get on our player map. Represent. Make Kansas look good. I do too. If it wasn't that all of a sudden I was trying to think of his name, I would. So If he sees this later, I apologize. I know who you are. I draw a blank at times. But you guys need to get your names on our map. Let people know that we're players. The thing's got out of focus. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, so let's get started here. Like I said, these are our special giveaways for the month of September. No, not these. These are a one-time deal this September. But if you need weight, email me, Colonel, and I'll get you squared away. Don't worry. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about MDF if you're not used to using MDF. So basically MDF is a fancy particle board, I guess would be the best description for it. I guess if I quit moving it will stay focused. So it kind of has a paper quality to it. It's compressed. Obviously, they use some kind of glue in it and things like that. There's some pretty yucky versions of MDF out there that have formaldehyde and stuff in them. That's not what we use. You could eat this stuff and I think be okay with it. I'm not advocating you go out and eat this, but I think you can and you'll be okay. So let's see here. Now, every once in a while I get an email with somebody that gets some of this, and it's something we try to avoid, but it doesn't always happen. So they get their, my nose is sticking in there. They get their MDF or whatever, and they see what looks like these really wide lines, like so. And they're like, wait a minute, hey, why is that wider? Or why is this line wider than this line over here? So what happens is when these things are cutting, they're on a flat cutting board. And MDF board can naturally not be flat. There's also little imperfections on the cutting surface and stuff too that build up over time. I don't know if you can even see just sitting here on this cutting board, this has got give to it here up here in the corner, a little bit of gap. So the laser, as it cuts, is at a certain height. A laser doesn't go up and down, it just goes back and forth and cuts. So what happens is if something's a little closer, and of course we dial it in to a certain depth, a height, but if for whatever reason the MDF gets a little closer or a little further away from where it's dialed in, it goes out of focus just a little bit. Now our laser is powerful enough that if it goes out of focus a little bit, it still cuts. But what happens is you get some diffusion up here. And it's not actually cut into the board, it's just the laser singes it, I guess. Puts a little singe to it, and so that's what makes it look wider. It's not really wider, it just looks that way because the laser beam doesn't go back and forth, it stays. Easiest way to know that is if you go back here and look on the back side of it, you will see that all the lines are the exact same width. So that's the only, and when you paint these, whatever, well, not really, because the routing machine is always cutting and cuts at a certain deal or whatever. You might have a deeper or or whatnot cut, but it's always going to be the same width. And that's the same thing with the laser. The laser beam is, a hair width. So it always is cutting at the exact same width. It's just, like I said, if the surface is just, a millimeter or half a millimeter closer or half a millimeter farther from where it's focused, it will, like I said, it just kind of cooks the edge a little bit. But it's just strictly on the outside. And sometimes you can even, it may not after they've set for a while, you can actually take a damp cloth and wash it off a little to an extent, because it's just literally, it's just kind of crisp, kind of like taking a magnifying glass, So if you get one like that, we try to catch them so that they don't go out. We're not always perfect on that. Also, when you have little tiny close together cuts, just the heat will cause the surface to darken up a little bit. But again, it's not cut into the MDF. It's just, like I said, it's just singed a little bit. So when you pop everything out and cut it and paint it, you'll never even see them. So I just wanted to make sure that if you did get something like that, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. And that's the reason this one here got rejected, because it, like I said, it's got this on there. It's perfectly fine to use, but it just doesn't look very good. So we try to catch them as we can. Now, if you get one, this is the way they come. Everything's all put together here. You pop them out. Generally, there's be a couple little spots, opposite corners or whatever, that we don't do a full cut all the way across there. It's like a millimeter, half a millimeter wide. That's to keep it so that it sticks in the main board so it doesn't fall out, because we can't, it's just too much of a pain trying to get all the little pieces out of the machine. So generally I just take a utility knife and just stick in that line because it's about the same width, and pop it right quick and it'll come right out. And if you get one that's stuck a little bit, sometimes you can just take your blade on the back and score it a little bit along that line to give it a little deal, but generally they pop out pretty easy. So, like so. Voila, out it comes. You can just throw that away or use it for junk or whatever. So I'm not going to go through all that, cutting one out tonight, because it's boring. But I've already got one cut out. So how cool is that? No muss, no fuss. Now, what I like to do is I use Elmer's glue. I put a little water in it to thin it down. I mean, it's probably the consistency of milk. Maybe a little thicker, but it's pretty, it just, that way it doesn't dry out as fast, it's easier to use and whatnot. Now, I use a junk brush to put my glue on with rather than, and this is just Elmer's, by the way. You can use Elmer's wood glue, you can use Gorilla wood glue, any kind of wood glue. Elmer's glue is all I've always used, and it works good, especially with a little water in it. It makes it soak into the MDF a little better, and I think it gets a little better finish stuck. So what I like to do, and this little window pops out too, by the way, little porthole. All right, so I've kind of, I kind of always dry fit something, make sure I know. You want to put the front to the bottom to the front or to the back first, like so. Pay attention where I'm, like that. So I like to put a little glue anywhere something's going to touch. So I put a little along here on the bottom edge, not too much or too far up because I don't want it all come spitting out. A little on the end. Then come back over to this one and put Put a little on the tops of that, where that's going to go. Like so. Then just stick them together and hold them together for a minute. Give the glue a little time to bond up. It's a little thicker. It'll hold a little bit better too. So you don't want to thin it down too much. Okay. So next comes the sides. Now you want to make sure that the line is to the inside. So this one will go this one, and this one will go here, because that marks something for it is. And again, we do the same thing. Anywhere that we know two surfaces are going to touch, we want to put some glue on there. Also, you can go in and sand these edges up too a little bit if you want. I didn't do it tonight. I just kind of popped it out. Now this one's got some on the top and the bottom, or the back and the bottom here. You don't want to get too crazy, or like I said, when you put it all together, you have glue squirting everywhere. All right, so this one, you got to kind of rock it in there because it's got two different surfaces. Or come from the side like so, like there. Slide it all together, push it all tight. Everything should be nice and square. Voila. And like I say, it doesn't take long for that Elmer's glue to soak in and start bonding. You can still pull it apart, but you don't get crazy with it yet. You don't give it time to dry, but it sets up pretty quick. Now, on this side, before you put the other side together, you'll make your life much better, is if you go ahead and put this little gantry bar in here. There's a line in the middle of it, so the line goes on the outside. It doesn't matter which end goes to that. Put some glue on the back of it, like so. Don't especially get too crazy on these little pieces, or you will have glue everywhere. And then it just fits in that line all the way to the back. Like so. You can put those on before you put the deal in there, but I found it's easier to do them afterwards so you can get it all pushed all the way back against the back side so it's flush up here. All right, and we're going to do the other side. Rinse and repeat. Hopefully I have not put you to sleep yet. All right. Same thing, make sure the line's to the inside. All snaps together, nice and tight. Voila, we have the makings of a mech bay, CAV bay, whichever you want to use it for. That's all mechs. Contrary. At the end of the day, mech is a mech. Okay, same thing. Now we're going to put the one on the inside here for the wall that we just did. All right, this one's a little trickier, but you just can stick it on the line and set her in there. Get just a half second to move it if you need to. Push it back against there so it's flush. Voila. All right, then we have the little work window overlook bay thing here that goes to the back. Again, it fits inside that square. Just gonna throw some glue on the back of this. Writing goes down, but it should just fit right there inside those two lines, like so. Have to keep it nice and straight. All right, and then you have a little depth for their little overlook here. Now, one thing that I did do with this is, obviously this is cut out here at the bottom, a little stand. So what that is, that's this piece here. And this piece here glues to the bottom of it. And basically what it allows you to do is, if you want to get fancy and rotate it or something, you can. Or you can just leave it in there. I mean, it's however you want to do it. But what you want to do first, so each of these comes with 4 letters. 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 C's, 2 D's. What that's for is so you can individually put each letter on if you have multiple bays that you want to use. So what you want to do is whichever bay you're going to use, so we're going to go with A here. So first off, you want to put a little glue on the back of your A, like so, and center it here on this steering wheel looking thing. And glue that on there, get it as straight on there as you can. The piece you're putting on it is the very same size, so you get lined up on it, you should be good. Unless you hit it with your finger and knock it loose. Okay, so once that's on there, set it aside, let it dry for a second, and we'll come back to it. Now your other one goes here on the back. So we just put a little inside that square there, like so, and then set the other one on top. Just set it inside the lines. If you're lucky enough to be able to look straight. Okay. All right, now, wait a second. We're going to let this set up because what we're going to do here is we'll take this and then this just fits right over the top of that, like so. And glues down there. But we're going to let that set for a minute and make sure that that's, unless I knock it loose, and so I need to put some more glue on it. Okay, so we'll let that dry for a second. All right, so after that, I may be rushing a little bit, but we'll get going here. So now you just want to come in here and put some glue around the top of this thing. Like so, just dab some on there, do the dab. And this thing just slips right over the top. So if that's already glued and dried on there, that'll keep this thing going on there nice and straight. like so. And that should pretty much get you right on center there. And I use a junk brush to put my Elmer's glue on, just rinse it out. It'll be fine. It's not great for painting anymore, but it's great for putting glue on. So now it's all put together. This little dude here slips down in the hole, like so. Probably needed to sand it a little bit. Probably got this deal. But that way you can rotate it around. You can, whoops, unless I knock it totally loose. That's what happens when you get in a hurry. Because the lines are so fine, you're so fine you blow my mind. Like I said, you might want to give the outside edge just a little bit of a sanding. I don't think I brought any sandpaper up here with me. If you want it to be loose in there. But once it's in there, you can spin it around if you want to put your little guy on it and, go pew, 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 however you want to do that. All right, so that's how you put one together. Hello, Corsair. How are you doing? But when it's all put together, super fast, super easy. You have multiples, you can put them side by side, you can put them back to back, you can build them into 4s, 6s, 8s, however many you want to. You can either set them out on the board if you want to, or if you have a building that you want to set them into, you can as well. Now, I've got 2 that I put together earlier and primed. This is just black flat primer. And like I said, you can put 2 of them together. You can put them side by side. They all line up together like so. Voila. And we have A and B as our bays, which you can't see yet, but you will here in a minute. I always like to start with black. But you do need to prime them. This MDF just soaks up paint, water, liquid. So, anything you can do to get them sealed up, even if you're, you can use dull coat, gloss coat spray, just anything to cover it up first before you paint on it to seal that up so it doesn't soak your paint all the way up. Also, depending on what kind of paint job you want to do, you may want to paint them before you put them together. Obviously, it makes it harder to reach in to some of those spots. Nice thing is I dry brush on top of this black primer. That way the lines that are cut into it stay black. And then just kind of go from there. The little letters, the little marks and stuff, keep your paint kind of in a deal so it's easier to paint, safety lines, things like that. Now, I have managed some way, somehow, to lose or misplace all my gray paint. So tonight we're going to mix a little bit of black and white. I think I did that last time too. I don't know what I've done with all my gray paint. It's not like I can't just go down and grab some, but it is what it is. Especially when I'm doing terrain. I hate using good paint for terrain. So we'll get a little squeeze of black here. Walla, 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 walla. A little squeeze of white. I didn't bring my wet palette up here, which will make it a little easier. Keep it from drying out, but it is what it is. And then we are going to mix some up. Let's see what we got here. Got a nice junk brush here. So we're going to take some white over here. We're going to get a little bit of black. Kind of a darker gray to start with. Like so. Probably should mix up more, but I'm not going to, because we're just kind of winging it tonight here a little bit. Got my little cards I like to dry brush onto. I got my dry brush, my Revlon, this high dollar brush here. Get a little gray, thinner out. Then we're just going to come in and give it a light, good dusting. But we're going to kind of build this up. This will help define kind of where the lines are at. It may not show up too good on the camera yet, but it is lightening up. Plus, I'm probably going to do metallics, some silvers here on the sidebars. So this way, this will kind of, whoops, I got a little crazy there. This will kind of help lighten it up a little bit so I don't have to use as much metallic on it. Okay, well, I got a little crazy there, but let's see if we can. It'll be all right. We're going to go over it anyway. Sponges might work too. I hate sponges. Every time I use sponges, it just, I don't know. I haven't mastered sponges yet. But if you were wanting more of a mottled look too, you could. I've got one here. Just one here like so. I don't. See, I don't like sponges. Are for cleaning, not painting. Well, that is not true. All right. All right, so mix up some more. Guess I should have mixed up more. Actually, we'll just do it this way. Right now, I'm just kind of building it up to, like I said, it probably would have been easier to do this before I put it together, but I wasn't going to get that fancy with it. My dry brushing foo is not very good tonight. And like I said, I use primer it gray to start with. if that's the way you want to go, and then go from there. I just like with black because it kind of helps me keep my lines a little better, I think. You can always go back over it with a little wash to bring the lines back out. All right, let's see. So now we want a little lighter. More white. We need white. What do we do with the white? I'm going to do our dry brush off the paper towel this time. That might help me some. Get a little more off my brush a little easier. And there's not a lot you can do to it. I mean, it's, well, that's the plan. I'll know more next week. I mean, you know, you're dealing with concrete and steel, you know, so. Let's see here. But I said it doesn't take much to bring it out, and Now, like I said, I wanted to go back and put a little bit of, let's see, we got some shadowed steel here that we were going to put on the side things a little bit here. Maybe. All right. Get a little silver mixed in with our paint here on our brush already. Then I'm just going to come back and go over these because I want these to be more metallic looking. So here was something kind of funny today that I found. And so I had a box of old miniatures that I was getting rid of today. And it was a bunch of Warzone figures that was put out by Target Games back in the late 90s for Mutant Chronicles. Warzone was the deal. But they had some kind of a mech, kind of a walker kind of thing in there. And I got it out, and lo and behold, I got to looking at it, and whoever modeled that for them used rhino legs. They are the legs off of a rhino that they went in and ground off some of the detail and added a couple of things, but they were rhino legs, no doubt in my mind whatsoever. I thought that was kind of funny. Now, and guys, this is rough and rumble. I'm just putting some color on this thing. You can come in here and get as fancy with this as you want. Luckily, like I said, with this, with the lines already cut in there, you can come in there and anywhere you want to and if you're pretty, just kind of take your time, you'll stay right inside the line. Even me, Mr. Shaky Hands. Yeah, it's just, like I said, if you can get as fancy as you want to get. If I was, like I said, if I was going to do this for my board finish piece, I'd have painted it before I put it together because it's just too hard to reach in there. But that line being cut in there makes it a whole lot easier to paint inside the. I just kind of dab it in there and kind of work it out to the edge. This one's a little tighter. Get my little brush. The other thing is if you go out of your line a little bit, just get your brush damp, not too, and you can just kind of wipe it back off real easy with a little water. You're just thinning it out enough to where you can pick it back up. Then come back and see, even with this primer and dry brush on here, this thing is really still soaking paint. Sucking it up. But that's no problem. I think that's pretty much retail for the normal ones. At $4 a piece, maybe a little cheaper. Pretty close. Well, hopefully nobody will buy them. For that price, anyway. See, if old shaky hand CAV boss can do this, you can do it. Well, I guess if you want to look at them that way. Hopefully it wasn't somebody who just took a handful of them off the paint take table this last weekend. That would be unfortunate. But there's a reason why they're out of print. All right? What city is does it say that the seller's out of? Well, that's even worse that they would take advantage of people like that. Well, you were supposed to all the time. They're just enforcing it. Oh, my poor eyes. Oops, missed that one. Nope. Anytime you get paid $600 a year in cash, you are supposed to be 1099 and report it. Yeah, let's see if he's going to be able to get that fixed. Oh, John. Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah, if you, your neighbor had come across the street and said, hey, I like your couch. I want to buy your couch. Give you $600 for it. He is supposed to 1099 you, and you have to report that. But nobody does. But if they can figure out a way to make somebody enforce it, they are going to come after it. All right, so there you can see, it's not too hard. You can go in there and paint that. I don't know if I got any, do I have any yellow up here? I don't know that I have any yellow, so we may have to. What you have, there's these little blocks or little markings up here in the. Luckily, these are a little bigger and a little further apart on the ones that you guys are getting. This was an earlier version, so the old numbers and everything are a little bigger. So you can thank me later. Especially this. This will be a lot easier to paint these before it was. I would probably paint these yellow and black. If I was painting for a finished piece. Well, come on here. Yeah. It is that. But you can alternate back and forth here. Oh, my eyes are going out on me. Plus trying to paint for the camera sucks. Anyway, you can alternate those back and forth. And like James says, it is kind of a clean, you can come in with some browns and some rust and Bay cats. Hygog, Bay cats. I guess I don't understand. Oh, I see, kitty litter cats. Okay. Oh yeah, no, I know kitty litter for oil spills. We've got bags of it here at the shop. I was not dialing all that in. Sorry, it's late for me. Plus we have that paint that's like, what is it, the T-gel blue, and you can spill out on there. You can do all kinds of things with it. I'm going to do another one for a good one that I'll show off next week. Actually, I take that back because there will be no show next week. So I am going to be out of town Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll be skipping next week. But anyway, so there's you a quick and dirty CAV bay. You can paint them up, make them look a lot different. Put your little bay in there, like so. Put your CAV in there. Voila. Ready to go. If a pillager can fit in there, anybody can fit in there. Anyway, so there you go. That's the show. Any questions, any comments, any criticisms before we call it a night? Well, thank you, Corsair. I'm glad you appreciate them. I am so glad that we have got our production in-house now and that they are as nice as they are. And they're only going to get better. We're learning more about the process daily. So as we learn more tricks on how to cast in this plastic, everything's just going to get better. So I hope everybody enjoys it. Will the cheetah fit in one of those bays? The Vindicator is waiting until the new 3D printer is in-house, which I am picking up next Wednesday and Thursday. So, because we have to totally redo the body on it as far as how it's cut up. So rather than spend a bunch more money paying somebody else to do it, we're just waiting until the new printer comes in. The cheetah, I would think the cheetah will fit in there. If the pillager will fit in there, the cheetah will fit in there. I think the pillager is the widest one we've done, if I remember correctly. Well, yeah, I know it's taller, but as far as the width-wise, I think when I measured this to build it, I think I made sure that everything would fit in it width-wise. Tallness-wise, that's just goes with the territory. You can put them together and just keep building. They're like Legos. The Cheetah has those long guns too. Yeah, but they'll stick out the front. It'd be just like any other bay, you know, go to Auto Mechanics Bay. Some cars fit better than others, but they get them all in there. So anyway, guys, it's 9 o'clock. It's the witching hour. So I am out of here. I will be back the week after next. We'll be talking hopefully about our first games day down at Reaper HQ, third weekend of October. And we should have some more info by then. So everybody, take care. And we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good night.